Yeah, what's good, Joe? Shman the Bigga P, and here are my thoughts from this past Saturday's um, boxing cards. There were only two. There was the HBO card, and then there was earlier um, the card on wealth, and then the German card. I'll start off with that one. The German one was Arthur Abraham versus Robert Stiglitz, the third fight. Now, in the two previous fights, the first fight was Abraham winning, winning a very close but clear decision over Stiglitz to begin his first run as super middleweight champion. And then the second fight, to the shock of many, Stiglitz stopped Abraham to regain the belt. So you think, okay, the third one's going to be the tiebreaker. This one should be good. My thoughts on the fight, it was incredibly sloppy. It was like super sloppy, like wild shots, lots of clinching. Occasionally, both men were landing some serious like blows on each other. It was like that the whole fight. The real fuckery was near the last round, where Abraham finally caught him, and Stiglitz, and then Stiglitz, I think with 30 seconds left, finally sunk to the canvas for the first knockdown of the whole fight. And that ref gave Stiglitz a little bit more time than usual to actually get up and to actually, to continue the fight. And how I feel, that's just the way I feel. I feel that the ref, didn't give extra time. Abraham would have probably closed the show, as he's known because Abraham is known for scoring late knockouts in the fights. Abraham, I think, won the split decision, and he regained the super middleweight belt. Now, my thing on that was, like I said, it was an average fight. It was sloppy. I didn't see anything. What I saw was pretty much Abraham, on a last hurrah type of input in that last hurrah type performance. Because there's no way I feel that the second he faces a top contender at 168, he's probably going to lose that belt again. Yeah. And Stieglitz, well, I guess, what can you do? What can you say? He just got caught. If he didn't go down, he probably would have won the fight. He probably would have won the fight on the cards. So I guess what it is, just go back to the drawing board. I don't know if there's going to be a fourth fight or whatever. But Abraham didn't really show me anything that he's going to keep that belt for very long, unless barring his usual setups in Germany and whatnot. And the other fight that happened in the afternoon was Ricky Burns versus Terrence Crawford. This was anticipated for me for a lot of reasons. I'm not a big Ricky Burns fan. Never been. Especially with his fights in 2013 rubbed me the wrong way. That first fight with Gonzalez, which he was well on his way to either getting stopped or losing by a wide margin on the cards. When Gonzalez, quit in his corner, saying he had a wrist injury. That didn't sit well with me at all. And then after that, the fight with Ray Beltran, in which he all but lost this fight. He was knocked down, jaw broken, everything. And that fight ended in a draw. That Houdini-like ability for him to keep his style was starting to wear thin on me. So I was hoping at least Crawford would come into Scotland and take the belt from the champion, which he did, but he didn't do it in a way that I thought was, that leave it up to the doubt that he won the fight. There was a lot of feeling out in the first couple 2-3 rounds or whatever, and then before it was just clear that the hand speed, his boxing ability, and upper body movement of Crawford was giving Ricky a lot of problems. Ricky absolutely had nothing. He tried to. He didn't have any inside game, and when he was inside and he was getting, hit with some of these punches, he was clinching almost ASAP. And that was pretty much the whole pattern for the whole fight. I wanted a stoppage. I wanted Crawford because I didn't want to leave anything in judges, especially in Ricky's hometown, home country, and leave it up to doubt that he won. That he didn't win the fight. Luckily, the judging was on point tonight. After that one, I might want an emphasis. I wanted a little emphasis that say, hey, I want Crawford to at least put Ricky down for at least one knockdown in the fight to say, okay, yeah, he definitely won the fight. And I do believe, and I did prior to the decision, I do believe that he did. But it was just one of those things that I was just waiting for a bad card to show up, and there wasn't. So I was happy. Crawford, finally, Burns' reign came to an end. Crawford is the new WBO lightweight champion. Which now, now of course, it'll make that at least that division a little bit more interesting. Because Crawford does have some punching ability. He does pop, but he's really he's like a boxer. He's a boxer puncher in a way, but he does at least he provides another contrast to the division. Along with the other champions of Brill and Figueroa, and then Vasquez, who I'm not a fan of at all. So hopefully, yeah, he gives. What I'm hoping for maybe is Crawford will give Beltran, who does deserve another shot, at the belt. So, it was a good fight. I wanted a little bit more from Crawford to really put emphasis that he was, that's the person I'm singing. But hey, the judges. I saw he won the fight. The judges saw he won the fight. The crowd knew he won the fight. Ricky knew he won the fight. I guess that's all I can ask for, right? So, the HBO card. The first fight was Orlando Salido versus Salido-Lomachenko. Now, this fight had a lot of what I like to call fuckery in the whole pre-fight stuff. First it was Vasil saying that, oh yes, because I couldn't close my hands with the gloves in the World Series of Boxing, that was really amateur. It's not really pro. Even though the 5 or 6 pro fights that he did fight, he did get paid for those fights. If he didn't get, as far as I know, if he didn't get paid, then he's not an amateur. If he didn't get paid, then he was an amateur. But I believe he did get paid for those fights. So, but you know what it was. I guess they, Top Rank needed some sort of gimmick for him to justify giving him the fight, giving him a title fight against a veteran like Salido in only his second professional fight. So naturally, they got the fight, and I was watching closely. Lomachenko, his first fight on the card, the Pacquiao, the Bradley Marquez undercard. Dude showed good hands. He showed good power, but nothing that says to me that he would be able to dethrone a champion, in his second fight. Now, as for Salido, I felt sorry for Salido having to go through a second fight of this. He just came off a fight with, Elena Cruz, the whole thing where, he had to worry about Cruz. Cruz, if Cruz had won the fight, Cruz would have been the first openly gay featherweight champion. So it was just one of those things that he goes from one circus to another circus. Now he has to deal with this, and knowing what Salido was capable of doing, I knew that he was gonna have his own. He was gonna use every trick in the veteran book. First was his weight. He lost his actual title on the scales when he was like 2.2 pounds over the limit, and he probably, if he wanted to, he probably could have. He probably could have took off those pounds or whatever, but he didn't, and he was almost immediate. As soon as he got on the scale, he started drinking water. So you already knew what time it was, and I believe that fine only cost him $15K, which is was nothing. If it was a little bit more significant than that, then I'm pretty sure he would have made the weight, and the fight would have continued as it was. He would have retained his belt. So what happened pretty much after that, now, if Lomachenko's camp was really knew the business, they probably could have put a rehydration clause on him. To at least, if he wasn't so willingly to, he wasn't willing to make the weight, so there's probably a rehydration clause on him, because what happened was they didn't, and he entered the ring at the max limit of at welter. He was 147, and Lomachenko went up to maybe a little bit under 135 or whatever. So he had a very functioning weight advantage, and he looked absolutely huge in that fight. Um, which began the reason why Salido would actually win this fight, because in the first, pretty much the first 5-6 rounds, Lomachenko was literally just intimidated. He couldn't do much because Salido was so much bigger than him. And on top of that, Salido was giving him some mean body work to slow him down. Now I expected Lomachenko to actually fold, after some time. Because Salido is he does have some power. He does have a good amount of power to, especially with that weight range. So I was waiting for that one right hand or whatever that'll make him wobble. Lomachenko did get my respect on the fact because he was not I mean, as much as what Salido did in this fight, he was not in trouble, but he didn't work enough. And he also, this fight was terribly officiated. Lawrence Cole sleepwalking, hungover, or whatever. But I've never seen so many unchecked low blows in my life. It was absolutely incredible how many low blows Salido was landing on Lomachenko, because it wasn't just the body, the holding. It was just the constant low blows. I mean, I'm seeing blows to the damn near thighs and knees, and Cole's not. I don't think Cole called one low blow in that fight. If I did, I mean, maybe I need to rewatch it again. But I was watching Salido go to work on Lomachenko's thighs and knees and hips and all of that shit, and Cole didn't call it. And my thing is, if Lomachenko knew, Lomachenko could have made more of a scene, because there were some legit low blows. He could have went down and made a scene, or whatever, to at least make Salido to stop going low, so to have a point taken away. But there was none of that. Lomachenko did come in late in the later rounds. As Salido, like I said, that weight loss, that weight gain that he did was starting to take hold. It was making him sluggish. And in the 12th round, Lomachenko actually staggered him to the point where, Salido was holding on. And only Salido holding on the way he did kept the fight. Even then, the fight, I still think Salido won the fight very comfortably. But, they gave him a split decision. But they gave him a split decision instead. Like I said, I can't fault. I can't fault Salido for what he did. Like I said, it's the rest part. It's the rest job to actually call the fouls and get away with it. Salido is he is a dirty fighter. He's done this stuff before. He knows the game, and he got away with it. And I'm not gonna say it was a good win for Salido, because it really wasn't. My guess is if he did actually make the weight, if Lomachenko probably could have actually, could have probably pulled a spoiler roll and could have caused a major upset. But until then, but it wasn't to be. Lomachenko did not win this title in his 2 fights. Frankly, I don't know what I would have done if that was the case. Because I feel some type of way of, it might invite a precedent that really shouldn't happen. Lomachenko, yes, is a very highly decorated amateur, but it shouldn't be to the point where amateurs, let's say if they have a lot of fights, should automatically come in and, get a shot so soon. And it showed. He wasn't ready, he didn't have the pro experience, he didn't have anything in there to deal with a wily veteran with Salido. All he had was hand speed and maybe some pop, and that was not enough to overcome a 19-pound difference. So all I can say for Lomachenko is I hope he actually learned from the fight. And to his credit, Salido did not ruin him. Because Salido can do that. Salido didn't ruin him, and he stayed on his feet without wobbling all over the place, or getting beaten up. So I hope that he can learn from this and come back and learn the pro game properly before going after a very seasoned champion. The main event was Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. versus Brian Vera, the second fight. Now, this first fight, it was clear that Vera won the fight. Vera won it handily by outworking him, but Chavez got a major gift. Thing with Chavez, of course, with his gifts, he got the Carlos Molina fights, which I thought Junior lost both of them, and the Vanda fights. which I do believe Junior did win that rematch. So you have another situation where he's again has to face someone he probably should be in the first time around if he wasn't so lazy. Chavez, to this point, his condition was on point. He didn't look a lot bigger than Brian Vera, so there was no weight advantage there. Um, he looked in shape, and he was able to grind out 12 rounds. Um, Vera took one hell of a beating. If I'm not mistaken, Chavez landed 62% of his power punches on Vera, which is not the best. But Vera's still on his feet. Like, he didn't wobble, he didn't go down, which was surprising considering. I've seen Vera wobble before. I've seen Jaden Covington and James Kirkland stop him before. So and Chavez is probably the biggest fight he's faced. He kept on coming though. Vera did show a jab. He was pumping it in the early rounds. I think he stopped using it. He stopped using it when it got later on in the fight. Chavez, like I said, Chavez put in a work rate. He was catching him with the left hook constantly. The right hand was snapping Vera's head back. He was landing some serious power punches, but Vera just, showed an absolutely great chin. So it was a good fight. Chavez, he cruised to the, a very clear unanimous decision, and then probably off to face, whoever the winner of Rove and Froch is, or going after Bigga. Who knows? But that's all I saw that improved with Chavez Jr. I didn't really think that boxing wise, he didn't. He looks, the same, except for the fact that he couldn't use his size anymore. He couldn't use his size to actually to gain an advantage. As for Vera, he acquitted himself well, and with people like Vera, he'll be back and he'll cause he'll spoil he'll spoil another fight, and he'll survive. That's right. He's a tough guy. So that's pretty much about it for now. It's been a while since I actually done a video because there hasn't been a lot of cards on there. I don't think I've done one since January. That's about it, and I will see you next week for the Showtime quadruple header. Should be a good one. All right, peace.